You want AMD's 3D V-Cache? You can't handle AMD's 3D V-Cache. God of War can apparently handle being switched over to PC, and Sony thinks you should probably still just buy a PS4. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. So sit back, relax, drink a cup of coffee or tea, whichever you prefer. I really don't care. Honestly, I'm not a huge tea drinker, but I have, especially after living in South Africa, learned to enjoy a good cup of tea. Get me some rooibos. I'll even take some Earl Grey. Let me know what you're sipping on down below in the comments while we talk about Ryzen 7 5800X3D from AMD, with new reports coming out that the reason we're only getting one X3D chip is not because AMD couldn't make them, it's because TSMC can't make them, or rather, instead of can't make them, they won't give them to AMD for lonely consumer products, but rather they're trying to prioritize their 3D packing technology for enterprise customers. So you stupid gamers get absolutely nothing. This is coming after the fact that we expected, especially since that's what AMD showed us, was a 5900X with 3D V-Cache technology. When they actually unveiled what they're going to be giving gamers, it was just a 5800X and no release date and no price. And that is likely because, according to Digitimes, the fact that TSMC is just not going to be making these in very high volume for AMD for us to get them. So even if the 5800X3D does come out, it will likely be in very limited quantities. So if you want to experience AMD's 3D V-Cache technology, it's probably going to have to wait until Zen 4 or Ryzen 7000 rather towards the end of this year. Honestly, this is a huge bummer for me. Obviously, AMD can't go past what TSMC will sell to them, so it's not inherently their fault, but I do think consumers were expecting a bit more besides one chip at an unknown price and release date with just not a whole lot of details surrounding it. That's not kind of what AMD was positioning themselves to do with this chip. And especially as we were coming up to the launch of 12th gen CPUs by Intel, a lot of you in the comments were like, haha, Alder Lake's cool, but wait until what AMD has with their 3D V-Cache. And Alder Lake's cool. That's good. We're not waiting for 3D V-Cache anymore because likely very many people won't be getting it. And in yesterday's episode of Hot News, we talked about how we didn't get an announcement by Samsung about their partnership with AMD, even though they had a whole tweet and a whole website and a whole promotional video about a January 11th announcement date. They just didn't talk about it. Well, after that episode of Hot News was filmed, Samsung finally came out and said that they are planning to unveil the new application processor at the time of launching a new Samsung smartphone. There are no problems with AP's production and performance, which obviously it doesn't really answer a whole lot. Number one, why did you cancel the event without informing anybody? And you're only bringing this up after the fact where everybody was just like, where's this dang chip? But then on top of that, a few of you in yesterday's comments were like, they're going to announce it with the Galaxy S22, which is entirely possible. However, I would like to point out the reading of what Samsung actually said, which is at the time of launching a new Samsung smartphone, not necessarily the Galaxy S22 series. And we got more information coming out from well-known leakers about stuff going on behind the scenes, and the fact that apparently the GPU on the Exynos 2200 thermal throttles. It can't run at 1.9 gigahertz, which is the target, and instead the optimal temperature only works at 1.29 gigahertz, which is a far cry from where they actually wanted it to be. It's currently planned to go up to 1.5, but not necessarily what they actually want it to be. And then on top of that, indicating that the Exynos chip has not really been exactly what AMD and Samsung were looking for it to be. The Exynos 1200 was supposed to be launched in November. That never happened. The 2200 was supposed to be announced 2 days ago, and that's not coming out. And so it does appear like there is stuff going on behind the scenes with this chip. I know there is a lot of people saying things like, oh, they would know if there was problems right before right now, okay? It's coming out in the Galaxy S22. Maybe, or maybe they thought they would overcome it and they just can't. I mean, it's entirely possible that marketing got ahead of the engineering, and then engineering was like, we have nothing to demonstrate. You want to go out on the stage and show off this chip while it thermal throttles and performs worse than everybody? We've been trying to tell you for 12 months that this chip is not going to work. And every single time you're just like, oh, you guys are smart, you'll figure it out. And we're sitting here being like, listen, marketing, no, we don't have anything. We can't get this to work. It's not going to work. Give us more time. Maybe that's happening behind the scenes. Who knows? I'm just speculating. But what you can't speculate on is that the chip didn't get announced, which is really really frustrating. And one of the things AMD did announce that they backpedaled on and are now delivering on yet again is having Zen 3 support on 300 series chipset motherboards, the X370, the B350, and the like. And now ASRock is the first company to roll out an official BIOS update to support Vermeer chips on their X370 motherboards. ASRock's always been really good about being at the top of the line when it comes to the BIOS game. Even unofficial BIOS support where like they'll implement PCI Express 4.0 on B450 for like a month, and then AMD comes through and they're just like, stop, we didn't want you to do that. And ASRock was like, we did it. We gave the consumers what they wanted. And I know what you want right now, okay? You want the Cryptostonks update. Green Day, big up. Not the band. Bitcoin up to $44,000, increasing 3% on the day to sit pretty, just having a nice morning rally to sit up where it needs to be. Ethereum also up 5% on the day to be just shy of a $400 billion market cap, sitting at $3.3 thousand. Dogecoin also increasing 5% to sit at 16 cents. The meme stonks, however, not being as green. GameStop down 1.72% to be at 128.06. Most importantly, though, Plastic Surgeon tells doing this every morning can snap back sagging skin. No creams needed. Snap back your sagging skin, friends, with AMC also being down 0.3% to sit at 22.72. And what's usually a meme is a console game being ported to PC well after its console launch, and then it's just absolutely a train wreck. I mean, we had the Final Fantasy VII Remake launch on PC, limited settings, doesn't perform very great, doesn't have options that it should, as well as having hidden options because then it became an Epic Game Store exclusive, all kind of sucky suck. Well, that changes today. God of War, which is supposed to be coming out on January 14th to Steam, is actually really good according to all of the reports that I've been reading. It has tons of settings that you can optimize. It has unlocked frame rate, ultra wide support, DLSS, and a bevy of other features that are out there. And according to all the reports I'm seeing, it actually runs rather smoothly regardless of what system you have it on. 4K RTX 3090, high settings, you're getting an average of 110 FPS. I've seen somebody run it on a GTX 970 and they were averaging right around 60 FPS on 1080p, so it does seem to be a well optimized port. According to a few things, there are a few frame hiccups here and there, but overall it does seem like Sony Santa Monica Studios actually put a decent amount of effort into this port, so when it launches on January 14th, it won't be such a disappointment like I am to my parents. And what's going to disappoint some gamers is Stalker 2 is only going to be able to come out on December 8th, according to their latest delays, saying that they need additional 7 months of development to fulfill their vision and achieve the desired state of the game, which I think a lot of people are just okay with accepting. However, I would like to potentially normalize game companies not giving us a release date until they're like absolutely certain, because like while I appreciate the fact that I would rather have a game delayed rather than broken and like completely not finished like Cyberpunk 2077, I also like this whole like, we're gonna have it out, but no we're not, but no we're not, but no we're not, and this day, but not this day, no is now this day, and then the game comes out, you're just like, I've been strung along too far, my heart is stretched way too thin. You've been teasing me for so long, I don't even know if you're real anymore. Am I being catfished, or are you a real video game? I don't know, that's just how I feel about it. Let me know what you think of that down below in the comments. But don't worry, you want to play the latest games, you don't need a next-gen console for that, because Sony decides that, hey, PS4 is still good enough, we're gonna keep selling that. Initially, Sony was supposed to stop production on the PlayStation 4 at the end of 2021, because obviously the PS5 has launched and it had been over a year, so they could just pull all of that back. However, because the PS5's out of stock and gamers can't get their hands on consoles, Sony decided, yeah, we need to keep selling these. However, if you go and look for them, you also can't find those, so it does appear like people are buying them. You can, however, buy a PS4 Slim directly from Sony for $299.99, which is the same price as it always freaking was, and it's limited one per household, so in case you want a PS4, it's gonna be $300. PS5 is $500, and it's a sad, sad state of affairs, my friends. Today was a pretty negative day of news, all right? Like, good news that there's the X370 BIOS and, you know, God of War PC port's not absolute anus. That's like some optimism, but oh man, this was a downer of an episode. And I'm gonna go download some cars. I'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye.